Oh no, when you told me, I was like, ooh, boy, my man did watch a bunch of episodes.
I didn't know I watched so many episodes until I got to I saw the title Deal's World Part 1. I'm like, oh, am I at the, oh shit, I'm at the last 4 episodes. That's crazy. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to Irbal Sinergy, the shop. I'm your host, Sinji. With me, as always, the Sound Master, the Troll Master, Irby.
Hello, it's me.
Wave, Irby, wave.
I just did. You can't see me though, but I did.
You right? I can't see you.
Yeah.
So did you?
I did. I did wave. Wave to the folks in the home audience.
I appreciate you doing that.
Yeah. You know, I do what I can when I can.
I do what I can when I can.
Yeah. Yeah. What's up with you?
Oh, you know, man, just chilling, living life. Watching lots of JoJo's.
Yeah, the JoJo's cinematic universe. Yeah, because man, so he watched a Dio fight now. I was like, oh.
No, I didn't. I wanted to, but I knew I wouldn't finish. I didn't even have enough time to finish the first episode. And I was like, damn, it's a 3-part fight. I don't want to start it and not no. It was let me not squeeze in any more time.
Yeah, dog. You'll see that fight. I was like, oh.
It was tempting. I'll tell you that. It was tempting to maybe just a little of it.
Yeah. What's your flavor this week?
That's a tough question. I watched so much. Okay. Hold on. Let's just skim through it. And you know what? To be perfectly honest, it's either between the Iggy fight or how the Joestars beat Darby's brother.
Yeah.
I don't know which one to go with, so I'll just say it's a mix between the two. I really enjoyed the Iggy fight. I think it was done well. It didn't feel like just one of those fights you throw in. Although the I just thought it was done well, but it kind of annoyed me that the narrator started talking for Iggy, and then eventually it just turned into Iggy just talking, but we couldn't get the bird to talk back. I was just like,
yeah. What got me was that Iggy could talk the whole time. It just chose not to.
Well, he can't. People can't understand him, but he can talk. Yeah, I wish he would just talk. He could have just talked. He had thoughts, but I kind of felt for Iggy towards the end. I kind of felt bad for him. And then just it was just a big brain move on how they beat Darby the player.
Yeah, you talking about the card game?
Not the card game. No, the second one, the one where they were playing video games.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, that one.
Was
the card game. I like the card game too, but it wasn't it's not up there on my list on the best things I've seen in these past over 15 episodes.
Yeah, you watched a bunch of episodes.
Yo, it really puts in perspective how many I think I don't think I was off on Monday. I think I worked on Mondays. I don't know how I squeezed in so many episodes, to be honest. And I remember watching all of them. I think I watched a lot on the weekend. I think that's what ended up happening. I think I banged out a lot on Sunday.
Yeah, so you had to. I was like, man, you close to finish watching JoJo's.
The crazy part is I don't feel like I watched a lot of episodes.
it's so like intensive, and like you just feel the stuff there, and you're like, oh man, this is happening. Like, oh, it just grips you in. And you're oh, what is he going to do next? How's he going to get that out?
Yeah, I think that's the crazy. I don't feel like I watched a lot of episodes.
Oh no, when you told me, I was like, ooh, boy, my man did watch a bunch of episodes.
I didn't know I watched so many episodes until I got to like I saw the title Deal's World Part 1. I'm like, oh, am I at the oh shit, I'm at the like the last 4 episodes. That's crazy.
Yeah,
How many did I fucking watch? That's insane.
yeah, because I was like, oh yeah, it should be. Probably only got like through like 5 episodes. It shouldn't be too bad. You're like, yeah, I'm before the deal fight. I was like, whoa, that was a whole lot of episodes.
Dude, I'm telling you, I don't know where even I don't know what happened.
Yeah, it's definitely one of those ones. That's why I was like, I started watching it, and I was like, oh, let me because I was like, yeah, I couldn't recommend this for the show, but I was like, nah, I like this. Let me just keep watching.
You just keep watching.
Yeah, like, I'll just keep watching. I'll pick another show. So I was like,
we'll be all right.
Yeah, I was like, yeah, there's plenty of other animes out there.
That's
but yeah, I just was like, man.
Do you have a flavor this week?
I want to say no because I mean, I do find stuff that was interesting with Konohamaru. He definitely bucked that all up.
Yeah.
But yeah, and Sarada, her little thing. I was like, oh, okay. I was like, wow. But yeah. So, what do you want to talk about first?
I don't know. Do you want to end on JoJo's or do you want to end on Boruto? I have like.
You probably can end on JoJo's because there's a lot of JoJo's.
All right, so then let me just talk about Solo real quick, and then we can get into some Boruto.
Yeah, go ahead. Solo was terrible this week.
No, it wasn't terrible. It was just the cliffhanger I knew was gonna happen. Everyone, I saw someone. I don't know if it was the show was edited into the video, and that guy just has a clip of him breaking the TV. But like, they were as soon as like the episode ended, I saw like a video on Instagram. Like as soon as the cliffhanger happened, dude just broke his TV. And I was like, bruh.
Oh yeah, that video he it's not that video's from something else, but people just like edited the TV or whatever they're watching in there. If that makes sense.
Yeah. Okay. I was just like, I don't know if it's that serious.
Yeah,
especially the people who like know what's gonna happen, and it was just like, all right, yeah, it's the cliffhanger, but like honestly, would you have preferred him show up and like the cliffhanger be him face to face with Beru?
Yeah,
I think this was the better cliffhanger. Honestly, this one. Now we don't get to miss any of the next. There's only 2 episodes left, but I enjoyed it. I'm conflicted now because as me and Pete said in the group chat, they didn't make Gojo like in a cold sweat of like fear after facing Jinnu in the sparring match, and presumably, I'm gonna take his word for it, it was because Japan didn't want to look weak to Koreans. So like I thought they were like, because they never showed the president of the Japanese Association, so I thought they just wrote the character off because like he painted Japanese people in a bad light. You know what I mean? But
yeah.
In the middle of the episode, like they showed Gojo talking to him, and like they referenced the plan to abandon Korea, and it was just like, oh no, so there's still pieces of shits in the show, and like I really don't understand why you took out the scene that made it didn't really make Gojo look weak. It just kind of made Jinnu look stronger. So like I was just like, man, little things like that's gonna bug me, but like. They did the show good enough to where like it's not like I can't enjoy it.
Yeah.
Unlike watching Boruto versus reading Boruto, and I was just like, I don't ever want to watch this ever again.
Yeah.
I would not continue another fucking episode. This is good. The reading is really good. What they do.
Reading is way better. I feel like, yeah, with Boruto, they definitely went on too soon. I feel like.
I think they were probably trying to just like ride a wave that like wasn't big enough to carry them.
Yeah, because I feel like none of us were like really thought out. They did the movie, and then they had so much people. They're like, "Oh yeah, Boruto, this, that," and like, "Oh, I can't wait for it to come out." And then they were like, "All right, we're gonna put it out." And I don't feel like it was thought out well enough or planned through because essentially they added characters in there. Like Denki's not even supposed to be in there. And
Right,
he's
right.
like, yeah. And I think Class Rep wasn't supposed to be in there either.
Well, the class, they had that whole situation with the class rep going crazy. The summoning things, the summoning. There was so much, and like the crazy part was they were adding things that weren't even interesting.
Yeah, her whole thing was, I guess, it was interesting to see that there was like a new beast with like a new eye, if that made sense for her, but. All in all, Denki, I didn't need his side story. He's a side character. Don't care about him. He's not going to be a fan favorite. So I just was like, whatever.
Yeah.
Y'all just doing the utmost.
So are we gonna get into Boruto?
Yeah, let's get on into Boruto.
Lead the way, Kang.
It was just mostly, the fight. Konohamaru was still with Matsuri's doppelganger. And so they had that whole moment where she was trying to kill him because this, that, and the other, because he was a bad guy. I was like, oh man. But yeah, she was like, it's terrifying. She knew how to put the feeling into words that she would actually like loved him, but couldn't figure out how to actually say it. And so she was gonna swallow that man up. And then we switch over to Sarada's and them fight, which that was a good fight. And old girl Yodo, she was like, just tell him information. And this is the classic. This is what Naruto did when they were like, just tell us where Sasuke is. He's like, I will never sell out a comrade. This is her moment right here. And so I was like, oh, would you look at that? She's like, I'll never sell out a comrade, even it means selling myself. And then immediately Yodo gets stabbed through the stomach. And I'm like, oh man.
Wrote her off quick. I was like, damn.
I was like, oh, she's like, it's okay. I'm a goner. I know that already.
I was like, yeah, damn.
I was like, wow. But then we switch back to Konohamaru and Matsuri. She's crying. He's like, what is this? She's like, it's tears. So that means you don't want to kill me and this, that, and the other. And she was like, oh. And he's like, yeah, just give me your hands. And proceeds to hit her with Giant Rasengan that didn't do enough damage to kill her, but did enough to make her very mad to kill him. And so he is in a world of trouble.
I'm tired of Konohamaru, bro.
Like, he just does crazy stuff.
Just doing stupid shit.
Like, he could have just, like, destroyed a hand. Like, I feel like in this moment, instead of hitting her with the Giant Rasengan, he could have been like, take the stuff off. We can talk about this and the others, and I can help you through your feelings. And like, he was like, just tame him he flashed back to Shikamaru saying, tame him while their wild beast is still innocent cubblings, and then betray him. But I'm like, if he would have waited a little bit longer, he could have like got her to like let her guard down, like, hey, close your eyes, I want you to vision this, and then just went straight for the head and killed her. But he didn't. So we switched back to
One fake kiss, you would have had a perfect moment to put her down.
Put it straight through the heart. But yeah, so then they flash back to the other Otsusukis, and they're like, "Oh, Matsuri, because of her love for him, she didn't devour him quick enough, and because Konohama's love for the original Matsuri, he didn't strike a divisive blow, so he let victory slip away from his grasp. So he might be getting beat up right now. I don't know. It ended, but." Then we flash back to Yodo, and she's like, "Yeah, why stop holding back that powerful one?" She like, use the power that you have inside of you, even for like the one that you love or whatever. And I was like, "Oh, what power?" I was like, "Is she holding back her chakra control? Like, does she have a reserve that she's been holding back?"
Yo, I was like really trying to figure out what she was talking about. There was no, in my head, there was no way I didn't even consider it. But go ahead.
Yeah. And so Todasuki had put all these stuff on the kids to make them puppets. And he was like, "I hear your heart, your feelings. You want to be strong." It's like, "I could tell you're strong, but you're deluding yourself." And so he's like, "Stop letting that power rot that you have." And then this is when all of the stuff starts to disappear. The iron sand's going away. She drops her kunai. It wraps up into a ball, and I'm like, "Oh, what's going on?" I was like, her Sharingan's awakened? And then she has the Mangekyo. At first, I was like, "Oh, is that the Rinnegan?" I was like, "That's how she making the sand go away?" I was like, "Oh, snap. The Rinnegan." But it wasn't. She has the Mangekyo Sharingan, which means that she should be able to do like a half Susanoo.
I mean, all right, okay. Let's talk about that. Let's talk about this. Clear something up for me. How does one unlock the Mangekyo Sharingan?
It's through intense feelings.
Wasn't it you had to kill your best friend?
Well, that could be into like an intense feeling as well.
I started thinking like, what if they just thought you had to kill your best friend, but really you just needed some trauma in your life?
Yeah, that's how Itachi unlocked his original Sharingan, because his comrade.
Yeah, because he didn't kill Shisui. She should have killed himself, right?
No, you didn't let me finish. His original Sharingan unlocked because his comrade came through and like sacrificed himself for him, and he was like, "Oh, this is what war is," and he unlocked his Tomi. But Shisui, he just jumped off a bridge, and that great loss killed him. Well, he could be alive, Shisui. I don't know, but
that'd be a crazy throwaway.
It would. He comes back and he tutors Sarada. I'm like, "Oh snap!"
That'd be crazy. I mean, she's gotta now be learning from Kakashi because Sasuke's out of commission, I guess.
Yeah.
I was like, Sasuke, Kakashi over here. I guess I'm training another Uchiha.
Yeah, but it's yeah, it's just, they say it's a tense loss. Killing your best friend, I would quantify that because it's like, it's your best friend and your best friend dies, and now you're like torn between killing your best friend and your best friend dying, and that unlocks it. I feel like so.
The hilarious thing was like all of Naruto, Kakashi, Itachi was like, you got to kill your best friend to attain power, and then like all of Shippuden, not all of Shippuden, but like towards the end of Shippuden, Itachi was like, Naruto's gonna be who saves Sasuke. So well, in the first half you had him trying to kill him.
I don't think he
I don't think Itachi thought that Sasuke was actually going to do it. I think that's why he said it.
No, I don't think it was quite like that though. He said you have enough hate at first, and I guess the rumor mill, he asked him, "How do you get your Mangekyo?" He's like, you gotta kill your best friend or something.
Mm-hmm.
And so, I mean, that was a rumor mill. Is how you get it. They never really said how they unlocked it in the past, other than, I think they did say that. You just kill your best friend.
Yeah, I think And then like, but I think it's just trauma because like the other that I don't know how Madara got his, but like with Itachi and Kakashi, it was more so watching their best friends die, which Kakashi unlocked, like learned how to use his later on.
Well, Kakashi, he's a whole different story because when it unlocked, because when Ren died, Obito unlocked his, and that's why he slaughtered everyone. And when he unlocked his, it did something to Kakashi's eye and it made him black out. I think Madara's may have unlocked because no, his unlocked because Tobirama killed his younger brother and he took his eyes. And that locked his Eternal Mangekyo Sharingan because his eyes were failing because he was using his Sharingan too much.
The major drawback to Sharingans.
Yeah. So
That they probably wrote off at this point.
I think they probably will.
Yeah.
Or
I don't think
hear
they'll
me
tie it.
out. This is what it could be. It could be that if you obtain the Mangekyo Sharingan from someone else through like late great trauma by killing your friend or family, you don't get it. But if you just unlock it naturally through wanting to protect someone, it might be different.
So let's go over this then. How do you think Sarada unlocked it?
Her great feelings of wanting to protect Boruto.
Okay, I was thinking more of the trauma of everyone wanting to kill Boruto, but let's go with that.
I feel like she would have had it before, but the old girl was like, "Why are you just holding back?" And so I feel like
I felt like she's had it for like 2 years.
she might have had it for 2 years, but she hasn't used it. So there's no telling, but we might get a little backstory how she unlocked it later.
Maybe, but we got to see her kick some ass real quick.
If she
In a month.
survives.
In a month.
Yeah.
She just dissipated everything that was like metal, I think.
I just want to know what hers is because it doesn't really.
Well, it looks
So
like
I don't know-
it's very effective against metal.
Yeah, I don't know if she's like teleporting it away or she's just pulling pieces of it away. If that makes sense. Because it just was there and then she pulled it all in one space.
Let me get a second look at it real quick. Let's go towards the end. Sarada.
Yeah, because I was like, oh, it just made it dissipate, or it might be something where she just makes it go or diffuses it. No telling.
Because it like, you see it gathering.
I don't know if it's like it kind of looks similar to like a Kamui.
But I
Where-
can't tell that it's actually like disappearing or disappear.
Yeah.
No, it doesn't show it disappearing. It just kind of just shows it gathering in one spot, and then it goes like
Yeah.
zooms in on her and then shows her eyes. So I don't. I'm not too sure.
Yeah, I don't know what it is exactly. And so I'm just like, maybe
I wasn't-
we'll get an answer.
I was a little disappointed with her pattern though.
I mean, at this point, you done went through all the cool patterns.
Yeah, I was just like, ah, man. They kind of went with like a really simple pattern.
Well, good thing is, if she wants a different pattern, she can go steal someone else's eyes.
She's not really spoiled for choice.
Is either take your dad's eye or what's the other?
He only has one. Take Kakashi's and take Sasuke's. Both
Kakashi
have one
doesn't
eye.
have anymore.
Oh, that's right. He doesn't have it anymore. She's not really spoiled for choice then. Orochimaru probably has some hiding somewhere.
Well, what's that boy's? Remember they had all the red shins. I don't know if that's canon or not, but
I
she
don't
could've
think
just
it's
got one
canon.
of them. Yeah, we have to look, but definitely probably have some red eyes somewhere.
I don't think Shin's canon.
Well, yeah, I didn't read it, so I think at that point I was just looking at the show.
I did enjoy the a couple scenes of the like they were like when Shin tried to attack Naruto and like he stopped it and then he was like calm down Kurama and it just showed. I was like, oh, that was kind of cool.
Yeah. Kurama.
Shall we get into the meat of the episode?
Yeah, I got a little bit of
Go ahead.
Black Clover we could talk about.
Let's talk about Black Clover. Hopefully, no
Asta's,
one spoiled anything for you.
yeah, I just finished the part where you spoiled it from me not too long ago. So, but yeah, Asta, he had his fight, and they sent him off to the land of the sun, which this kind of feels like when the time skip in One Piece happened, where everyone got shipped to other lands to train. And I was like, oh man. But yeah, antimatter key shooting beams and everything, and the folks coming over, and Captain Yami's sister, that he pulled his own Itachi moment where he killed the whole clan, but I'm pretty sure something happened that made him kill the whole clan, because he just doesn't seem like the man that would just kill folks like that. So I feel like either something with her was going to happen that he didn't tell her about, and he just was like, I'll just be the bad guy.
Mm-hmm.
And then she just always thought he was a bad guy. So, and never been corrected. So you just gotta let that one lie where it is. But yeah, that was a good one. I remember that. But yeah, I can't wait to Boruto next month,
So yeah, you got a long way.
next
It's gonna be
year,
a long week.
the longest of weeks. Yeah, I'm on chapter 345 of Black Clover.
That's
I got
Black Clover's cool.
33 chapters. I'll probably read another volume here in a little bit.
Do it.
So go ahead and start that JoJo's.
I don't want to talk about JoJo's for 3 hours, so I'm going to try to condense it as much as possible.
Probably just talk about the fights.
Yeah, so we'll just do them in order. So after meeting Iggy, then we ran into the Kanum Oingo and Toss Boingo. Personally, I thought those two were a waste of two stands.
I feel like the knowing the future one pairs well if you have. All right, I'll put it this way: if him and JoJo were brothers, it probably would pair better because they can know moves and know what's going to happen, or if he's like, oh, this is going to happen, this we got to do that, but to pair with a stand that only has the ability to change looks isn't the best.
Yeah, it was one of the first episodes in the past two seasons that I felt like we probably didn't need this episode. You probably could have just said 7 Egyptian gods and left these two out of it. The older brother, he never came back at all. At least the younger brother kind of came back and had a chance with Whole Horse. If Whole Horse was just a little more open-minded and trusting, he probably could have made some. That probably would have been a great combo. Honestly, that little kid with anyone would just be a good combo if they just put the amount of faith that his brother had in him.
Yeah.
Anyone else, the shape-shifting guy, that's all right. I mean, you could have done something, but you didn't. So that episode was okay. I didn't really enjoy it too much. The Anubis episode, however, I enjoyed how the Anubis stand worked, and how it was the sword, and the sword infected the person.
Wielder, yeah.
Yeah. Cause like at first I thought the kid, who seemed pretty nice, just kind of switched up as soon as he got some power. I'm like, oh, that was a crazy crazy turnaround. But no, it's actually Anubis. Anubis controls their mind. So like he came across Polnareff, and they Polnareff won that fight. He picked up the sword. The sword almost like started to take over him, but like it didn't. So then they went, and in the midst of taking it to the police station or whatever, he went to get a haircut, and Jotaro went with him just to keep an eye on him, make sure he doesn't, I guess, get
Make
sidetracked
sure
or
they
whatever.
travel in pairs.
About damn time.
Yeah.
Mind you, for a solid, I want to say, up until Iggy's fight, Iggy was never really around in these episodes. He'd show up for
He
like,
was,
he was like,
random bits.
yeah, he just show up for like a minute or two, and I'm like, yo, where the hell is Iggy? What is he doing? He's not really helping this journey much. So that's why I really enjoyed his fight. But we'll get there.
I just
Go ahead.
no, I thought about something, but it make more sense when we get there.
Okay.
To talk about it. But there was but yeah, if you ever think about it, like Iggy shows up like right before something bad happens, so he's gone, but then he always comes back. He's like, oh, hey, what's this? So it may seem random, but he's kind of watching in the wings, I feel like.
Nah, I think he was just chilling for like the last 50. Just with how he was talking during his fight, I think he was just trying his best just to chill
Yeah,
for 15 episodes.
Well, he came with the orange because I feel like he could smell the nitroglycerin in the bomb. So he was like, oh, hey, let me give you a little thing right here. A little note that, hey, this guy's not who he is. So, and then he took the tea the other time. So I feel like he has he's definitely has his moments.
Or
but he definitely tried to chill though.
Or what if he was like, oh, there's a bomb in here, let me give it back to them and hope they all fucking die so they'll leave me alone.
I don't know. Iggy seems like a good one.
Iggy seems like a good one, but like we'll get to it. We'll get to it. I have time reserved for an Iggy conversation. 'Cause that's actually one of my, if I had to rate the last 15 episodes in terms of fights, I really enjoyed Iggy's fight. Iggy's fight is up there.
Yeah.
So Polar is getting a haircut. He asked the barber to put the swords aside. Barber touched the sword. Sword possesses Barber. Polnareff and Jotaro quickly, deal with the barber, and then Polnareff.
I wouldn't say quickly though.
It was kind of quick because most of that episode, it was Jotaro versus Polnareff. So,
I would say fairly quick though.
I mean, these stands are getting like 2 episodes a fight, and like that barber didn't last. I think it'd be generous to say he lost half the episode.
Yeah.
Yeah, but then Polnareff got abducted, and then like it was, I don't know how Anubis was able to use Polnareff's stand, but then it became like, oh, 2 sword style, 2 sword masters, and Jotaro, he ended up letting Anubis stab him in the stomach region, and then use Star Platinum to break the sword at the hilt, and then break the hilt, and that's how Anubis faded away. But it was just out of Polnareff because he was in the other part of the sword, which a kid picked up, and then he tried to attack either Jotaro or Polnareff, but he missed them and ended up flying into the Nile River, where he's now rotting away and rusting.
Yeah, I would say, talk about when JoJo caught the sword midair and snapped it sideways.
Hey, do the ninja catch?
That was straight out of Trunks' playbook.
Yo, man, we're gonna be doing this for like 15 episodes. There's gonna be a lot. I'm just breezing over.
See, I was like, oh snap.
But it was cool. Um, but it was also kind of like I was like, it's amazing he could do that with a sword that like can kind of cut whatever it wants and
Phase
not
through
cut whatever.
stuff. Yeah.
Yeah, I was just like, all right, I guess you could do that because that
Well,
thing
I
was cool.
I think part of that is because he needed the sword to be whole in order to make like the physical slash. So he wasn't anticipated being caught, but then after he learned about it being caught, that's why Jojo was like, "I gotta let this man stab me, so I keep the sword immobilized, so I can break it."
That makes sense.
Yeah, so that's what I look at it as.
Now we get the comedy next two episodes, where it's Bastet's Mariah versus Joseph and Avdol, and they had a whole like I would say 10 minutes where it was just very questionable behavior outside in public.
Yeah, I sent you that reel, and I was like, "Oh man, I'm gonna ruin this for him." But meanwhile, you already watched it.
Oh, I didn't see the real.
Yeah,
I was like, hey, you could have ruined it for me, I guess. But
yeah.
I honestly I don't even remember how they beat her.
They sandwiched her in between them both, so all that metal came and smacked her, and she ended up losing consciousness, and her power fell off.
Oh, okay. So like I think other than like the funny part where like, it looked like Avdol was giving Joseph head and then it looked like they were banging and the old lady that kept appearing out of nowhere and had a thing for Joseph thought that he was doing the deed with a guy and it was like, how dare you, cheater? Ugh.
Yeah, she was full on mad.
Yeah, she was wild. Then there was the train moment, and Avdol, last minute he dug a hole deep enough for both their bodies and held the rail in place so the train could go by. And she had a moment where it was funny. This next moment was funny because my wife was happened to be watching, and like the lady started making her breasts like really grow, and it looked natural at first, but it was really just a whole bunch of like I think nuts and washers and
Hers,
nails.
yeah,
And I was like, why mine don't do that?
yeah.
Oh man. Um. So that was that. They ended up beating her the way you said, and I
That was a big brain runaround though, because she was like, "Oh, y'all thought I was just doing this just because like I was leading you onto a trap," and it worked against her because they had trapped her in the place using the electricity that like made them more magnetized.
I feel like
So
I almost feel like I didn't finish that episode. Like maybe Netflix just put me to the next one. I don't
I don't
remember
know.
that. I don't remember the ending to that. Not even a
Yeah,
little bit.
yeah. Well, essentially, they chased around the city, and they had all the like everything was magnetized. They would run on like a bike on their back, signs on their back. They ran through, stole like a wedding ring, not on purpose. But yeah,
To be perfectly honest, I remember thinking when we started the next two episodes, and I was like, "Oh, Polar and Jotaro, maybe they're gonna show them running into them," and then like I was just like, over the course of this two episodes, I'm like, "Are we gonna get back to like Jotaro and Avdol?" And then like when they showed up, and was just like, "Did they beat her?" I don't. I think
yeah.
something happened with my episode.
Something might have happened.
Yeah, it's the only one though. It's the only one that like something happened and I can't account for it. I did enjoy Sets Alessi, just like I think his stand's a little OP, but also I love how like these guys look buff, but like they're really wimps.
Anzalessi. That's the car dealer, right?
No, that's the guy that like his stands a shadow and like makes you younger.
Oh yeah, yeah. He's the guy. I'm like, man, look at this old guy here
Yeah, so like
picking on
it's
little kids.
it starts with Polnareff, and he was beating the shit out of like Kid Polnareff, and like what's funny is that like because I don't want to say this. So here's what I'm confused about, and like I feel like these might be slight plot holes, but like for the sake of the fight, like you have to put that in there, otherwise there's no point in creating that type of stand, right? But a stand is a manifestation of your imagination.
It's a manifestation of energy.
Well, the way they explain it, it's a manifestation of your imagination. So like the way he was saying, like, oh,
It's energy, dog.
that's what I'm just saying. What like
Yeah,
Alessi said, like, oh, dude, you're a child, and your stand is a manifestation of your imagination, and you have the imagination of a child, so your stand is also a child. And I was like, listen, in theory, what you said could work, but a child's imagination is it's supposed to be a lot more.
but also as a child, you wouldn't see like yourself or your energy as something bigger than what you are. You would see yourself as like yourself. If that makes sense. Like I wouldn't have an imaginary friend and make him be 29 feet tall if I was a child. He'd
But you
roughly be
could
the
though,
same size. You
like
could,
like if your imaginary friend was a dinosaur or something, you know what I mean?
you could,
Granted,
but like,
Polaris is a humanoid figure that's good at
yeah,
fencing.
human being.
Yeah.
Yeah, so
But what was funny in those two episodes was Polnareff was like kind of gushing over the hot Egyptian lady that was taking care of him, but didn't really understand why he was gushing over her and didn't understand why he was embarrassed because he was naked. And some very, I would say, good things to talk about between those two episodes. I'll give you three moments, and then whatever you think of after was when Polnareff was being drowned, and then he just took a shit
yeah,
and threw it on dude's face.
yeah, that
Two,
was wild.
when he was cornered and dude was about to come in the room, but when he came in the room, he was nowhere to be found, and he actually just used a mirror to reflect the fishes so that he couldn't be seen in the water.
Yeah, that was a big time move.
I feel like adult Polnareff wouldn't think of that, so I don't know if kid Polnareff should be able to think of that, but it was really smart.
I mean, as a kid, your imagination is a little bit more wild, so
I
you
said
might
that
have
you
seen
shut
that.
me down, dog.
Yeah, for that, like you wouldn't make yourself like that, but like
I make myself huge.
as a kid, I would my friend be same size I am, but in regards to this, like the mirror thing, I could see a little kid doing that because like if I reflect it, you can't see me. Like you can't see me if I hide behind this thing. So I feel like I could, as a kid, I can imagine that one, but an adult probably wouldn't have thought of it because they lost that little piece of being childlike.
Hey, I'm with you.
Yeah. But yeah, continue. Oh, yeah. And Ponarev's the way he could shoot out his rapier. Only gets one shot though. That was one.
Yeah, he only gets one shot. Yeah, I mean, yeah. Um, and it was like small and weak. But
Yeah,
it happened
the
to
previous
twice.
episode.
Twice it happened to land a couple of nice blows.
Yeah, the previous episode when he shot old boy in the neck and killed him. Then he shot at the other guy in the neck and knocked him out. But
I'm gonna knock you out.
yeah,
And then third thing I enjoyed about these two episodes was like when Jotaro finally like caught on to he was a stand user, he got kind of turned to a kid. And then he thought
yeah,
he had the one up on Jotaro. It was like, Jotaro, I heard that you just now manifested your stand. Therefore, you don't have a stand as a kid. And he continued to just beat the shit out of him.
yeah. He was like, bop, bop. I'm like, ooh, look at you.
But what bugged me was, so I felt like it was kind of like a little inconsistent, a little bit, just because like Polnareff was like he knew how to use his stand. He knew like he had to protect the fetus thing was kind of creepy, and like it kind of made a little no sense to me. It was so small, but it worked
I
out for the fetus
mean,
thing. But
it wasn't that small. I mean, you could see
that
it.
thing was like a freaking
And about the size of my hand.
no, not even close. It wasn't
Yeah.
even the size of Polnareff's hand, and he was he was like 2 years old.
Well, also started to shrink down through time, though. But when you initially saw it, it could fit in the palm of my hand.
But like what was getting me was like the inconsistencies with Polnareff's I guess memory, because like he didn't know Jotaro's name, but like he knew that like he was like I have a feeling like this guy could help me, but I can't remember his name. But then when he turned to a kid, he talks about Jotaro as if like he knew exactly who he was and like the type of person he was. He was like he was this strong as a kid. I was just like, I mean, that could have just been a blanket statement. I could just be looking too much into that.
I feel like he knew Johto was, he just didn't know his name.
Yeah. But moving on to the next two episodes, Darby the Gambler. I did enjoy this one. I enjoyed I know he has two people. He had two people's souls. Oh, it was Polnareff because Polnareff did something. They made a stupid bet that like the cat would get the left one because it was bigger, and he actually got the right one, so he lost his soul. And then when they finally understood the severity of like this guy's stand, Joseph played a game with him, which was, you know, dump chips into the cup, and whoever makes it spill over loses. Where Joseph, in his normal shenanigans, was taking his time to put a chip in, but really he was just pouring extra water in there to put it at his capacity. And that didn't spill over. So then when Homie put a chip in there and it didn't go over, Joseph started like panicking because he knew it was at its limits and it wouldn't take another one. So his soul admitted defeat and he ended up losing, and that's how his soul went away. So then he revealed that, or Avdol, or I forget who was observing, revealed that like there was a little bit of chocolate
It was
under
Joseph. Jojo.
Jotaro revealed that there was a little bit of chocolate under the cup, which he put under there when he was expecting as a small piece that tilted the cup just enough that when it melted, there was enough room for one chip, which is really, really, really genius.
Yeah, that was a genius move.
Genius cheating. That's genius level cheating right there. So then Jotaro challenged him to poker and said, I'm going to be watching, like, there will be no cheating while I'm here. I'll be watching like a hawk. So as soon as he tried to cheat, he started planning on break his finger. And then that's when they decided a kid will have to deal for them, who at the end of it all turned out to be working for Darby the Gambler. But at the end of it, the kid dealt Darby like a winning, like 4 kings, and dealt Jotaro a shitty hand that Jotaro didn't even look at. And Jotaro just played a really, really, really crazy buff game with him and said, no, I'm good with these cards, which made Darby second guess himself and made the kid second guess himself. And he was like, in fact, I'll put Avdol's soul on the line. So that Darby had to put, I guess both Joseph and Polnareff's souls on the line, and then he said, "In fact, I'm so confident I'll put my mom's soul on the line and Kakuin's soul on the line." So then that's when like Darby really, really, really started sweating, started panicking. He was like, "But like you don't have anything other souls, so why don't you put up Dio's Stan's information on the line?" And that's when like he couldn't bring himself to do anything, so he lost by default. So when he won and um Joseph and Polnareff came back after, I was like, "Jotaro, I need to know, what was your hand?" And he turned around and the kid was like, "I knew it. I did give him shit." And Jotaro was like, "Oh man, had I knew my cards were that bad, I probably wouldn't have betted anything."
Yeah.
I was like, yeah, my man really just. I had a feeling he was bluffing. It was just like, he put a lot of souls on the line. I mean, I guess your mom's soul is in danger anyway if you lose.
Yeah.
Like, soul, no soul, she's gonna die, so.
Yeah, definitely. But my man Jotaro.
Yo, man, that was good, that was a good 2 episodes. Whole Horse and Boingo they were okay. They weren't like soup. It wasn't like, oh wow, wow, wow. It was kind of just like it was a better comedic relief than the first time you see Boingo. Like between him shoving his fingers up Avdol's nose, and then like thinking that would help him win, but causing Avdol to sneeze is actually what helped him not kill them. And then like, all honestly speaking, even if he only got Joseph, Avdol, Polnareff, because Jotaro was still kind of conscious during the accident, he did still have a good opportunity to get 3 out of 4, and then could have just ran from Jotaro. Not saying he would have got away because Star Platinum was pretty quick, but like 3 out of 4, man, they were right there. I get the fate thing, but like, hey,
They could have just came back at a later time for the others.
yeah, I mean, it is what it is. But on to one of my favorite fights, the Guardian of Hell Pet Shop. Iggy's fight versus the Falcon. Let me just say, this episode really put how Iggy feels in perspective for me. And I actually did kind of feel bad for Iggy, especially because I know he lost a foot. They took my boy's foot, though.
Yeah. That's how it be, dog.
And even, Iggy was doing a lot of smart plays. That Falcon would not leave him the fuck alone.
Yeah.
That shit went underwater. And then I got a little lesson out of it. Apparently Falcons have like 5 lungs, so they can be able to fly at the high altitudes and have the lung capacity. And even if you choke them, it'll take a long, long time to actually kill them by like choking, because of the extra capacity of storage air they have.
Yeah.
Like, if that's true, I appreciated that little lesson. Like, I'll probably remember that. Maybe, I don't know.
I feel like JoJo's is filled with all sorts of information because he gave us the surface tension lesson when they were doing the game Joseph. So I'm like, oh, it all makes sense. Mm-hmm. I can see it. Because have you ever seen a photo of like a swimmer going and they don't break the water, but like the water is just like all over their head while they're like swimming? It's kind of funny.
Yeah.
But before they break the surface tension, so.
But I think you need like a certain level of like speed and like technique for that, right?
Yeah, you do.
Yeah.
You mostly see in like the good people in the Olympics.
So to sum up these 2 episodes, we kind of learned that like Iggy was kind of like, they gave him like a New York accent, honestly. And I think he was from New York. And he was kind of like just the dog king of the hood, the neighborhood.
He was because Avdol went and got him.
And then
'Cause they were
Abdul
like,
went and got him.
yeah, they were like, "Oh, we need help getting this dog. We can't catch him. He does something funny," and it turned out it was his stand.
Yeah, so like, even though he just wants to apparently sleep in the middle of the road. He doesn't want to fight. He's just chilling. He couldn't help but like save the kid who was about to get ganked by the Falcon stand user. So then he ended up fighting the Falcon stand user who, once he tried to run away, just kept chasing him and chasing him and chasing him, and then like he disappeared into the sewer, and the Falcon went into the. I don't even know how the Falcon opened the, probably with ice, but like I don't even know how he opened the manhole.
Fans are wonderful creatures.
Yeah, so like he just kept attacking Iggy and attacking, and then like he froze him in place, and right when he was about to attack him and hit him, Iggy gnawed up his leg and like went down. He even bandaged it up. I don't even know how he managed to do that.
With the help of the stand.
Yeah, like where'd you get the bandage? Because you didn't have anything on you, and you're in a sewer, so like that thing cannot be clean.
Yeah.
But then he was just chilling. He wanted to relax. He said he'd get vengeance on the bird, but then he felt like something approaching him. Surprise, surprise! It's the freaking bird. The bird tries to like crush him. He surrounded all his stand by ice, and so then he started digging a tunnel, and he found a pocket where like there was a cave, and it was like, who would dig a cave here? And like, surprise, surprise, it's the Falcon. So then the Falcon with Iggy trapped was about to launch his final attack with icicle, and Iggy in desperation move just let his stand collapse with the ice to propel him forward and bite the bird's beak off. Which, all in all, Iggy had some really big brain moves in this fight.
Yeah.
Even though he wasn't able to escape at all during his like 3 attempts, because Falcons are great hunters. He did have some good big brain plays, and conveniently the kid was nearby to watch Iggy pop up in the water and save him.
Very convenient.
Yeah. Now my problem is whether I liked Iggy or disliked Iggy. They dragged Iggy to help them, and not one of those bastards could have the decency to pick up my boy who's just walking with 3 legs, barely walking with 3 legs. Yeah. He's small enough to put on your shoulder. You are very well-built men.
Yeah.
And you're letting my dog limp with 3 legs to show you the way. You could have carried him. That bothered. I don't know why it bothered me. I was like, why? First, Cockman bothered me the most. I was like, you were behind him. You helped take him to where he get treated. You just let him walk. He's struggling. That dog is just struggling. You could see he's struggling.
Yeah. It's a sad day.
Then they took him inside the castle to fight.
Yeah.
Granted, he did save Polnareff. He did save him. I'm giving him credit where credit's due. I'm jumping the gun a little bit, but I do want to give credit to Iggy. So now we're at the castle. Let me see. That's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 5 episodes. Okay. So I'm gonna do Darby the player now. Part 1, part 2. We get to the castle. Door opens. They start to go in, and Darby the butler, who's Darby the player, shows up and leads himself, Jotaro, Joseph, and Kakuing inside a other space. I'm not going to call it dimension because it ended up not being that. another space. And apparently his stand, which we find out after, him and Kakyoin play and put their soul online, and like all his souls, he makes puppets out of them that very creepily move and talk. Honestly, I kind of was just like, this episode's a little.
A
I
little
can see this
weird.
episode being a little disturbing to some of the younger audience.
Yeah.
But he raised Kakyoin, and Kakyoin happened to be really like he happened to play the game before, and like they were going back and forth. Just it's typical of these battles, and when it seemed like Kakyoin did a big brain move, it actually worked against him, and he propelled the dude like way ahead of him, and he won, and Kakyoin ended up losing his soul, which I didn't think was gonna happen because like he made this big speech about like conquering his fears and redemption and stuff like that. So it's just like, all right, my man is gonna go crazy, and then Johto is gonna be fully rested for the next match. No, 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 no.
No,
Like,
that's he
he
had to
got
go
beat.
down.
He got beat
Yeah.
fairly easily, I might add.
Yeah, he had to go.
Yeah. So then Johto takes over and it's like, we're playing baseball. And my man Johto has never played a fucking video game to save his life.
Yeah.
I don't know if that's a fact, but it seemed that way because he was just figuring out the controls. So he got it pretty quickly, and he ended up getting 4 home runs. But then, it came time for him to pitch, and then we get the little detail that Darby's stand's ability is to see the truth to a person's soul, but he has to ask a yes or no question. So he was using that mechanism to see what Jotaro was gonna do. But in the end, Jotaro started throwing pitches that like he couldn't. He wanted to react to, but then it kept changing, so like he couldn't get anything going, and it ended up being Jotaro's turn again. And then eventually he got psyched out by the fact that like Jotaro wasn't. His soul kept saying like everything he thought he was doing to cheat, he wasn't doing, but he admitted that like his soul said he was doing something, but he couldn't figure out what. So when Kakyoin came back and like he like was defeated, he saw that it was actually Joseph's stand that was using the controller. So nothing, nothing, nothing. Jotaro, everything Jotaro said he wanted to do, he just wasn't the one doing.
Yeah.
Hey,
Makes
look,
sense.
that was big brain.
The very biggest of brains. All of his big brain.
All of those big brain.
Like
Now,
stuff that you like, oh, snap. Now what?
now, the miasma of the void, Vanilla Ice, Part 1, Part 2, Part 3. Listen, man. Listen. Can we get a moment of silence from my boy Avdol and Iggy?
Yeah.
Yo, man. First of man, I'm gonna say it again. I think the creator of JoJo's has something against animals.
If you think about it, animals are the quickest way to get someone
Get some heat,
to,
yeah. Draw some heat.
yeah, and or get a heartstring.
Oh
That,
man, when he was, I guess we'll start from the beginning. So like, going fast forwarding to the Avdol group, Joseph told them like, if we're not back in 10 minutes, burn the place to the ground. But they were determined. They were determined like to follow through with invading. So they ended up going through anyway, and they ended up coming across a guy real quick that Iggy dispatched of. So that was fine. It seemed hunky dory. But then they came across a guy who we see Dio talking to another guy who explains that Darby, the player, was defeated. So then Dio was like, "Would you die for me?" He was like, "Yes." Then I need one more blood sacrifice for my immortality. I need you to die for me. And the dude summoned a stand and took his own head off. And Dio was pleased and used his blood to bring him back. And then the dude proceeded to eat himself with his stand. That guy has one of the cooler stands. I feel like.
Yeah.
There's just obviously that huge weakness, but like I don't think he really needs to be in his stand to make that work. I think the weakness is gone if you just crawl out your stand's stomach. I'm not sure. He wasn't like he wasn't here long enough for me to do a full dive into his ability. I'm just assuming that he could potentially use that ability while not being inside the stand. But if that if he did have to be inside it, then that's just the flaw of his ability. But
Yeah.
he showed up, and then Avdol sensed them and pushed Polnareff and Iggy out the way, and then he got ate up, and his arms. It was just his arms, and I was just like, I was holding out, man. I was just like, well, maybe he's in maybe like the Kamui. He's just in a separate pocket dimension, and like his arms are not really off. They're just not attached to his body right now. But like if he came back, his arms would attach to his body. It was a stretch. It was a stretch. I was just like,
really stretching.
yeah, I was just like, they didn't kill him the first time. They're gonna kill him this time. I don't know. We're at the end of the hey. Look, if you're gonna kill him, now's the time to do it, I guess.
Yeah.
But I was just like, nah. Maybe he's like on the other side with no arms and just fighting the stand on the other side.
Maybe.
Nah, I was wrong. I was horribly wrong. So Polnareff and Iggy end up fighting this dude, and like they can't pin him down because he's just moving everywhere. And Polnareff ended up his foot ended up taking a hit, and like he had to crawl. I don't think it was necessary considering he got up towards the end of the fight and walked. I kind of think he was exaggerating a little bit when he was crawling on the ground.
They might not have had enough strength.
Hey, listen, you get that adrenaline going. I think he probably would have found the strength. I know Silver Chariot didn't find the strength to pull him.
Yeah.
But he tried the he gets his foot got, and then like the dude stand tried to get him, and Iggy saved Polnareff, and then when he realized Iggy saved him, he punched Iggy in the square in the jaw. Actually, no, that's not what happened. I missed a key thing. That's what happens when you fucking take in too much shit at once. Iggy made a sand version of Dio, which I don't even know how Iggy knows what Dio looks like.
Everyone knows what Dio looks like.
I don't think everyone knows what Dio looks like.
They do. Because they actually have photos of Dio.
Oh, okay, okay. Fair enough. Iggy made a sand version of Dio, and then dude knew it was fake because the sunlight was shining in the room, and Dio would never appear in a room during the sunlight. So he destroyed him, and then like from that moment on, he had a personal vendetta against Iggy. So then he punched the crap out of Iggy, and just started kicking him repeatedly. And Polnareff finally like got him to like stop and go back on the offensive towards Polnareff. And when it came down to like Polnareff almost being got, Iggy ended up saving him, and Polnareff ended up beating that guy by him actually using Iggy's sand to find out where he's moving was pretty smart. Again, like Polnareff is kind of like he seemed like such a dutz in the beginning. Like it's hard to imagine like he's doing all these big brain plays.
Yeah.
But in the end, he realized since the dude was immortal that he was a vampire, so he just simply broke the wall and let the sunlight in. And I guess the sunlight didn't bother him before because he was under protection of his stand. Because I immediately thought, like, wasn't he just breaking holes everywhere? Like, he went outside at some point. So I
Or it
guess
could be because Dio changed him and it
could
took
be.
effect.
It probably could have just taken effect as well.
Yeah. Who knows?
But yeah, man, that's Iggy. Then the show was like Avdol deceased, Iggy deceased, that guy deceased. I was like, damn, we just lost a slew of characters. Now we just have Polnareff, Jotaro, Joseph, and Kakuin.
Oh,
And
but the thing I was going to say was that I think Iggy can talk because do you remember how they say you can communicate through your stand?
mm-hmm.
I think that's what he started using, communicating through his stand. That's why you see him talk.
Yeah, I mean, I knew Polnareff was gonna be choked up about Iggy. He was just like, you spend so much time hating him, you actually kind of like him now. I do think Iggy was kind of messed up.
Iggy just wanted the dog.
Yeah, he just wanted to be a dog, and then like he got a little bent up. Hey guys, revenge is never the road you take, because he got bent up about taking revenge about his leg, and then he said, I can trace all my problems to one person. I'm like, I don't know if that's true. I don't know if all your problems are Dio's fault. I feel like you're projecting right now.
I mean, maybe Dio gave him a stand, you know?
I don't know if Dio's the source of stands, honestly.
Huh.
But like, it kind of feels like he gave all the Egyptian people stands, right?
I mean, you know, he
Oh,
may or may not get him stands.
I don't know. Oh, and real quick, they just Jotaro, Joseph, and Kakuin disposed of the two gender guy that everyone called a loser, and even Jotaro called a loser, and then he was just like, I'll cooperate. Just tell me one thing. How did you know the others called me loser? And Jotaro, good grief.
You're a loser.
Good grief. You're a loser, duh.
Yeah. So it's that's funny.
Yo, man, next week, finale.
Yeah, that fight. The order. Yeah, you gonna see some stuff that you didn't know was possible.
Oh, I saw some like one of the guys is like, you're not gonna auto me, are you? Oh, it was Darby the player, and it was just like, guess what? I'm gonna hit you with left hook or right jab, and he was just like, left hook, yes, and a right jab, both, yes. You see, you're not gonna do the auto, are you? Yes.
Yeah. He's yeah, Jotaro. He's a good one. The next season's gonna be good too.
Oh, and
Seasons.
what's homegirl's name? What's Joseph's wife's name again? It's S something son.
Sarah and something. I don't know.
She actually knew something was wrong with Polly and was just playing the role of a Dutz because she knew that like
It would make Joseph worry.
yeah, and then like she wasn't ready to face what was going on anyway, but she ended up going to see her daughter.
Yeah.
But yeah, that I'm a little disappointed I didn't get to finish in time, but I'm also glad I didn't get to finish in time because we're at the hour 13 mark and there's still four episodes left, and I feel like I'm gonna want to talk about these next three a lot.
Yeah. It's gonna be some stuff you're gonna be like, oh snap. But yeah. Go ahead and wrap this thing on up, my guy.
All right, guys.
That's the unofficial JoJo Bizarre Adventure podcast.
I was about to say, like, I know we've kind of transitioned to like a JoJo's podcast, but like, eventually it'll be over. I promise. Yeah, I'll finish JoJo's when fucking the next season comes out, and then we're both watching it.
Oh yeah, I'm definitely gonna watch. But I don't know. I feel like it's JoJo's is over. I feel like
No, I read that like another season's coming out.
I believe when I see it.
Yeah, let's look it up. If when we get a concrete date, I'll have to like really binge so we can watch together.
I say because the way they ended it, I'm like, how do you actually come back from this one?
Yeah. I mean, it's not much less, but Stardust Crusaders is the biggest season by 9 episodes.
That's the Jolene one.
No, it's this one.
Oh yeah,
Jolene is Stone Ocean.
oh yeah. You gonna find out some stuff on this one that makes sense.
In Stone Ocean?
No. End of this season, you're gonna see some stuff. You're like, oh snap, that's actually cool.
Oh yeah. Yeah. So next will be Diamond is Unbreakable.
Yeah, I think that's I forget who's the guy. That might be Josuke. Yeah, that's gonna be Josuke. Yeah, that one's a funny one. It goes back to he's straight out of the Jotaro mold, but more talkative and brash.
I'm a little undecided on like, do I just go into Diamond is Unbreakable when I'm finished with this one, or I just finish this one and then.
Nah, take a break, dog.
No, I don't really need to take a break. I just little. I might watch like the first episode. I might like introduce myself to the new guy.
JoJo will always be there.
It will, but I don't really have too much. There's not too much out there for me to watch right now.
Yeah, there's not.
Yeah, there's like Solo is the only thing I'm really going crazy. Like, hey, I have to watch that, and then like the rest of the stuff that I'm into, I'm reading. So, there's not really much. Daima finished. One Piece is on a hiatus, but I read it anyway. I don't really have anything. There will be some bangers in April. JoJo's might have to take a backseat for a while, depending on like how many bangers come out at the same time. But there are some bangers coming out in April.
Yeah,
that I'm excited for. So we'll see. But that's gonna. Oh, and ReZero. I'm currently watching ReZero, but like that's fine.
Yeah, dog.
That's going to do it for this episode, guys. Thank you for listening. If you enjoyed, like, comment, subscribe, and I promise we will not always be a JoJo's podcast.
We're the unofficial JoJo's podcast. Peace.